You're not unattractive. You're underdeveloped. And that's fixable. Because attractiveness isn't a feature. It's a skill. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what actually changes. How people categorize you emotionally, physically, socially, and why most women never learn this. And we're starting with the part no one wants to admit. Emotional control, not suppression. Not pretending you don't feel things. Control. Because beauty without emotional regulation expires quickly. You can be physically stunning, but if you spiral publicly, react impulsively, post emotionally, or argue at full volume every time you're triggered, your attractiveness shortens its own lifespan. That's not moral judgment. That's pattern recognition. People are constantly scanning for stability. And the fastest way to lower how you're perceived? Emotional unpredictability. Let me make this practical. Someone cancels on you last minute. Reactive version. You send a long paragraph. You screenshot it to your friend. You post a quote about knowing your worth. You replay it all night. Regulated version. You say, no worries. You adjust your plans. You log the behavior mentally. You move accordingly. Same disappointment. Different presentation. That difference is development. This changes everything. Because emotional steadiness makes people relax around you, and relaxed people assign higher value. Now try something with me. Think about the last time you felt rejected. Did your face tighten? Did your voice get faster? Did your texts get longer? That's development leaking. Right now, unclench your jaw. Let your tongue rest at the bottom of your mouth. Drop your shoulders. That softness you just felt? That's regulation. That alone alters how your face is read. And here's where most women unintentionally undo themselves. They confuse emotional transparency with emotional dumping. Oversharing too early doesn't create intimacy. It creates imbalance. If someone knows your deepest wound within 40 minutes of meeting you, you haven't bonded. You've exposed. Development means pacing access. You don't hand over your emotional blueprint before someone earns context. And this is the part no one wants to admit. Public spiraling is digital self-sabotage. Subtweeting, cryptic posts. Midnight emotional broadcasts. It feels expressive, but it signals instability. And instability lowers perceived value. You don't have to be emotionless. You just don't need an audience for every feeling. That's refinement. And if this already feels different from glow-up advice, that's intentional. Subscribe now because we're building this properly, not randomly. Now, here's where it shifts. Most women think attractiveness is about features. It's not. It's about regulation. When your emotions are contained not in the outdated, stiff way, but in a controlled, self-aware way, your beauty amplifies. When your emotions spill everywhere, your beauty competes with your instability. And instability always wins. This is why two women can look similar physically, but one feels magnetic, and the other feels draining. The difference? Steadiness. Now that we've established the foundation, let's talk about the signals that make people categorize you instantly. Because this is where most women think they're being expressive, but are actually being read as reactive. And that's where development becomes visible. Now, let's talk about something uncomfortable. Some women are perceived as reactive before they ever speak, not because they are, but because their body signals urgency. And this is where physical development actually matters. Not nails. Not wear clothes that fit. Not drink water. Signals. Your nervous system leaks through your body. Fast blinking. Micro-eye darting. Jaw tension. Shoulders creeping upward. Hands over gesturing. Weight shifting constantly. To you, that feels normal. To other people, it reads as internal chaos. This is why two women can stand in the same room equally attractive, and one feels composed while the other feels unsettled. Let's correct this immediately. Right now, slow your blinking by half. Let your gaze land before you look away. Keep your chin level instead of slightly lifted. Rest your hands lower than your chest when you talk. That alone shifts perception. People read steadiness through micro movements, and this is where most women never get trained. Across cultures, the pattern is the same. Maintenance before damage. Rhythm before emergency. Development before decline. Across cultures, the pattern is the same. Maintenance before damage. Rhythm before emergency. Development before decline. In Korean systems, skin isn't fixed when it breaks, it's maintained daily. In Eastern European systems, posture isn't corrected when you age. Girls are trained early. The principle is prevention. Prevent deterioration before it shows. Now, here's the uncomfortable shift. Most women don't look bad. They look unmaintained. There's a difference. Unmaintained looks like tired eyes without rhythm. Hair that only gets attention when there's an event. Skin that's reactive instead of protected. Posture that collapses when sitting. That's not genetics. That's rhythm. And rhythm is built. Here's something no one says. Gloss matters. Not makeup gloss. Surface gloss. Healthy hair reflects light. Hydrated skin reflects light. Relaxed muscle tone reflects light. Light reflection changes how you're categorized subconsciously. This is why some women look expensive without wearing expensive things. They reflect. Pause for a second. None of this is about becoming someone else. It's about becoming structured. Now, let's talk about facial tension. Because this one is huge. When you're thinking hard, stressed, or overstimulated, your brow tightens. That tightness ages you. Not years, but perception. Try this. Lift your eyebrows gently once. Now relax them completely. Feel the difference? When your forehead is chronically engaged, your face reads defensive. And defensive lowers softness. Another one. Mouth tension. If your lips are pressed together often, you look guarded. Let them part slightly when resting. You don't need to smile. Just release. That softens everything. And here's the part that shifts it deeper. Most women wait until they're ready to maintain themselves. After they lose weight. After they heal. After they get the job. After someone notices them. But development works the opposite way. Maintenance first. Results later. If you want to build attractiveness intentionally, you need a skin rhythm, a hair rhythm, a posture rhythm, a muscle relaxation rhythm, not emergency fixing, daily calibration. And here's the forward hook. Physical signaling means nothing if your social pacing undermines it. Because some women fix their appearance, but sabotage themselves the moment they open their mouth. That's where we're going next. Let's talk about the part that quietly overrides everything. Social pacing. Because some women look composed, and then undo it in the first 60 seconds of speaking. This isn't about personality. It's about delivery, and delivery changes how you're categorized. Here's how women accidentally lower their perceived steadiness in the first 60 seconds. Here's how that happens. Talking too fast. Answering before the question is fully finished. Over-explaining small details. Laughing to soften every statement. Filling silence immediately. To you, that feels friendly. To others, it feels like urgency. Urgency lowers perceived stability. Stability increases perceived attractiveness. Try this right now. Next time someone asks you something simple, like how was your weekend? Answer in one sentence. Then stop. Let silence sit for 2 seconds. Don't rescue it. Don't add a second explanation. Just hold eye contact gently. That alone recalibrates how you're read. Another one. Lower your speaking speed by 10%. Not slow, not dramatic. Just slightly slower than you think is necessary. People equate pace with control, and control feels grounded. Now here's the subtle shift most women miss. You don't need to be quieter. You need to be measured. There's a difference. Measured women choose their response. Reactive women spill it. And that distinction shows in body language. When you stop interrupting yourself mid-sentence. When you let someone else finish. When you don't rush to fill empty space. Your nervous system looks regulated. Regulated looks intentional. Intentional looks developed. And developed reads as attractive. This is also why emotional development matters. If someone compliments you and you immediately deflect, "Oh no, I look crazy today," that diminishes the moment. Instead, "Thank you." Pause. That's it. If someone disagrees with you and you escalate instantly, you look unsettled. Instead, "I see what you mean." Pause. Then respond. That's steadiness. And steadiness amplifies everything we talked about earlier. Now let's ground this in something practical. Environment. Because you normalize the level you stay around. If everyone in your circle talks over each other, overshares constantly, operates in chaos, treats stress as personality, you will unconsciously mirror it, and then wonder why you feel scattered. Development is not just personal. It's environmental. Change the rooms. Change the media. Change the standards you expose yourself to. If all you consume is hyper-reaction content, dramatic arguments, chaotic commentary, your nervous system adapts to that tempo, and tempo shapes presence. Instead, expose yourself to slower speech, refined movement, composed interviews, structured environments. Not because you're pretending to be someone else, because repetition rewires rhythm, and rhythm becomes identity. Here's the full truth. You were not unattractive. You were untrained. No one explained how micro-movements affect perception, how pace alters authority, how gloss changes categorization, how emotional steadiness multiplies beauty. So you thought attractiveness was genetic? It's developmental, and development is built in layers. Physical rhythm, social pacing, emotional regulation, environmental calibration. That's the system, not glow-ups, not extremes, not surgery. Systems. And here's your final micro-application. Before your next interaction today, whether it's work, dating, or even texting, slow down your first response. Relax your jaw. Let your shoulders drop. Answer in one clean sentence. And stop. That's development in real time. If you're ready to build yourself instead of waiting to be noticed, subscribe. Because we're not guessing here. We're building on purpose. Slowly. Intentionally. And correctly.